Hello and welcome to lesson 2. So today we are changing the narrative. We are rewriting all of those limiting beliefs that we found yesterday because these thoughts, beliefs, and feelings are not serving us on our journey, whether that be to improve a chronic condition, reduce our pain, get off medications, stay on a fitness plan, stay on track and remain consistent with nutrition. But the reality is, we are the author of our internal story. And when we change the things that we think, we change the things that we feel, we are changing our biology. And this is something, again, that is completely overlooked. And that is why some people have such great success and some people fail. And we see it in results and health outcomes. The people that have support around them, but also have a positive mindset, less stress, actually are taking the time to work through these things. Those are the people that have the positive results. And it's no wonder when we sit and spiral in negative thought processes, all we begin to see is the negative that occurs. And we can talk a little bit about that later on as well. We will dive into that. But yesterday we uncovered some of these stories, some of these beliefs that we encounter on our health journey. And some of these things we were handed, we grew up with, we were told. But the reality is most of these things aren't from us. Most of these things didn't originate with us. So today we're changing these stories and we're going to look at how, because we cannot move forward if these patterns and these thought processes are what are running our subconscious. We have to actually harness the power of neuroplasticity. And that's really what all of this is. We are working with neuroplasticity. Previously, it was a thought process that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, the reality is you can. It just takes some work. It takes practice. Just like exercising once or eating one salad is not going to get us the fitness results that we'd like, doing this one time or every once in a while, we are not going to actually rewrite anything. So we have to do the mindset medicine every day, take it like a vitamin, practice, and we literally will work in that muscle memory and rewire the neural connections in our brain. What happens when we think differently is neurons fire differently. They release different neurotransmitters, and those literally form new neural connections. So not only are you just telling yourself these things, but you're changing your biology, your physiology, how your brain functions. All right. So we are going to rewrite some of these things that we've been told or that we think are true, and we are going to convert them into truths that support our healing so we can begin practicing this repetition and feeling the emotions that empowering thoughts and beliefs give us, because that is actually what is going to impress on the subconscious mind that these things are indeed true. Feeling that emotion, borrowing, and we're going to talk about this more later as well, but we essentially borrow our emotion from how we would feel when we had that desired outcome, right? And we're a little early for that, but there's more to come on that. So again, every time we choose, and we have to choose, right? We have to choose the new thoughts, but every time we do, and we feel that it is true, we're literally rewiring our brain. We're recalibrating the nervous system, and we're changing the chemistry that is expressed inside of our body. So first and foremost, part one of rewriting this story, how reframing changes our biology. And every thought, again, like we said, sends signals, electrical signals and chemical signals throughout not only our brain, but the rest of our body. These signals influence our hormones, our immune function. They can promote or downregulate inflammation, and they even alter gene expression. Yes, they even alter gene expression. And for those of you, we hear a lot about genetics, especially since the Human Genome Project several years ago. Genetics are the big thing, but there is an entire field which many people do not know about called epigenetics, showing us that our genetics are not set in stone. They're actually influenced more, whether they're expressed or not, are influenced more by our thoughts, our feelings, what's going on inside, because that, again, changes our biology, our nutrition, our lifestyle, our exposures. Those things are more influential on whether or not we develop or are able to prevent or even reverse chronic conditions than the genetic code itself. So fear-based thoughts like I'll never heal, my body is broken, things don't work for me, I never stick with anything. These are triggering cortisol, adrenaline, other negative neurotransmitters and hormones that are keeping our body in either fight or flight or protection or survival mode. It's raising inflammation, it builds tension, and healing slows down. So those are the things that we want to wipe out of our mind. And it is a downstream domino effect. So when we replace these with thoughts like, my body is capable of healing, I'm learning to support my body every day, healing is happening within me. Again, we get the positive neurotransmitters and the effect on our body. So when we have the old beliefs, we have the old chemistry, we have the new beliefs, we've got the new biology. So that's something that's super exciting. And we're going to talk a little bit today about confirmation bias. So we alluded to this before, but our brain has something, a phenomenon that occurs called confirmation bias. It's a built-in filter and it kind of keeps us safe. But what it does is it's constantly searching for evidence to support what we already believe. So when we are focused on everything that is wrong or feeling like our body is broken or we're constantly looking things to fix ourselves, our brain is continuously scanning our worlds or our environments for other things and other problems that confirm that belief. So you notice every flare up, which then leads to more anxiety, which can lead to more pain. It is a constant downstream effect, right? Um, if you're focused on something like weight loss or nutrition, when we think things like, I never am able to stick with a diet plan, then we do things that support that, right? Um, it reinforces everything that we already believe about our incapabilities and things not working. Now, when we focus on what's possible, when we focus on what the wins that we have, our progress, when we focus on the days and the moments where we have relief, our brain can then switch and harness confirmation bias in our favor. All right. So it will look for opportunities. It will highlight improvements. It will help us see the success instead of seeing struggle. So this is how you get your mind to begin to work for you, for your healing, rather than against it. And so many of us, when we are looking to accomplish a health or wellness or a fitness goal, we're focused on all the things that are wrong, the things that we have to fix. When reality, the reality is we should be focusing on our wins, the things that we do know to be true. So what we're going to do is we're going to completely rewrite the story from limitation to possibility. So I want you to look back at your notes from lesson 1 and look at your top maybe 2 to 3 common limiting beliefs. Some examples, again, my body is against me. I'll never heal. I can't seem to stay consistent. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a new narrative. So we want to transform these beliefs into truths that serve our healing. And there are a couple ways to do this, okay? We'll start with the empowered belief, the full belief. I am a healthy, thriving woman might be something that is an empowered belief. My body is strong, capable, and resilient. I can do challenging things. We don't necessarily want to say hard things. Challenging can be hard, but it doesn't necessarily have a negative connotation. We can be challenged in very positive ways. I am in alignment with healing and ease. All of these things are empowered beliefs, but sometimes our brain can't get there. It feels too fake, feels a little woo-woo, right? So we use what we call bridge statements. And these help train the subconscious to get our brain on board. But these are from going, instead of going from I'll never heal to I am healed, you can bridge that gap and go from I'll never heal to my body is capable of healing. And we look for things that we know support that. We know if we get a cut, our body will heal. Our body is capable of healing. Okay? There are ways to find evidence. If you get a bruise, it will resolve. For some people, it takes a little longer than others, but those are physical, tangible proof that your body is fully capable of healing. When you go in for a surgery, a surgeon may make the cut and sew you up, but it's the body that actually heals itself. All right? Instead of saying nothing works for me, a bridge statement might be, I am learning what truly supports my body. I am learning. I am capable. We're empowering ourselves with a growth mindset. All right. I'll always be in pain, bridging that gap. Each day I'm finding new ways to bring comfort and relief to myself. All right. They can build safety in the nervous system. And once the brain starts collecting this evidence that these little things are true, and it's starting to utilize confirmation bias in a positive way, we can step into the more powerful, more empowered I am versions, those big versions of these statements. All right, maybe you're already there. Maybe you don't need the bridge statements, and that's okay. I needed the bridge statements, and that's fine too. All right. Now, again, it's not only the statement that's important. We need to reinforce, and the best way to reinforce is through emotion. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and emotion. That's why a lot of these memories that we have, we look back, we can still feel the emotion that we had on Christmas Day or, with the passing of a loved one. Yeah, that emotion is embedded inside us. All right. So every time we speak and visualize, we're embedding it, but we also want to reinforce through emotion. So what we want to do is feel as if this is already something that's true. Close your eyes and imagine what would it feel like if you already had the results that you desired. Not tomorrow, not if you found the right doctor, not if you ate all of the right foods, not if you exercise perfectly every day or every week. What if it was already true right now? How would you feel? What would it look like? What would it smell like? What would it sound like? What would you be doing? How would you speak to yourself? How would you show up in your body, for your family, for your friends? And really feel that version of you. All right. Feel that peace, the confidence, the energy, the vitality. All right. This feeling is your body's new signal. And when you create your emotions around a desired outcome, your brain fires the same way as if it were already real. The subconscious mind cannot tell what is true and what is not. So when you feed into it, the growth, the experiences, the outcomes that you want it to have, that's all it knows. This is where mindset becomes medicine. Something else that's very important is using I am language. So when we do this, we say I am, and as opposed to I will or one day. And the reason this is so important is again, because when we say I will heal, that implies that you are not. It keeps your desired outcome in the future. But when you say, I am healing, I am healthy, I am strong, and these don't have to be big ways because you may not believe that you've reached your full expression in strength, for instance. But we know that there are ways that we are strong and find those for yourself. This is going to be different for each and every one of us. All right. And our body, our physiology will begin to respond. Now, again, we can't just do this once and expect to see massive results. You need to reinforce this. This is nourishing your mind, mental nutrition, regulating your nervous system, and repositioning and conditioning your body for healing. Or if it's not healing, whatever health outcome you're hoping to accomplish, whether it be weight loss, fitness, lower inflammation. All right. So, ways to make this part of your daily routine are to speak your affirmations daily, visualize, and those are your I am statements. Visualize your desired reality and really sit in that feeling, even if it's just for a couple minutes a day. We are retraining the brain, and that can take time. That's perfectly fine if it's just a small amount of time every single day. A lot of us don't have time to lay in bed for 30 minutes and do a grandiose visualization. That's not necessary. All right, baby steps. So, to embody this, we're going to select a couple of those I am statements that you wrote down and just sit quietly and sit with those. Close your eyes, repeat them, visualize those truths. All right. Before moving on to your next lesson, let me know in the app what's one of your new beliefs? What did you rewrite? What is something from yesterday or the last lesson that you found was not serving you? And how did you transform this? All right. Remember, you are capable of healing every single day, and rewiring your mind and calming your body is going to help you create a lifetime full of success on your health and wellness journey. Okay, this isn't just for you to use right now. These are things that you can utilize for the rest of your life with any health related goal. And this isn't just about thinking positive. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. We will have ups and downs. Healing is not linear. Health goals are not linear. Even, fitness goals are not linear. We have days where we get thrown off, where our nutrition's not fantastic, or we're, exhausted and kids are running around everywhere and we don't get our movement in. Okay? But this is about training our brain and our body to live in alignment with the version of you that is already accomplishing the health goals that you aspire to accomplish. So speak your truth, feel it in your body, and live with vitality. I'll see you next time.